I tried to edit my PowerPoint last minute because I have a Facebook page. I finally created myself a Facebook page, and it's just called Eva the Vegan. So these are my socials, or lack thereof, my email address where you can always reach me, my LinkedIn, and my YouTube account, Eva Vegan, and I'll leave a link to my YouTube at the end. So first of all, sorry it's such an intimidatingly intense slide, but this, I wanted to talk about why fashion is so bad for the planet. So the image I use here is actually one of my favorite case studies when it comes to fashion, and it's the Aral Sea. It's situated kind of between Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, kind of that area, and it can be seen from space, and it's such a large inland sea, or was, let's say, such large inland sea that it even had tides. And now it is no more due to poor irrigation practices for cotton farming in the region, and it is pretty much completely dried up. They've built a dam now to try and control the water usage and to, block one of the main rivers out so that they can try and keep some of the sea, because so many people have lost their livelihoods because they used to fish there. And the saddest thing I think about the Aral Sea case study is that, this is me getting all, sad now, is when it dried up, it left like this residue of like salty chemical dust in the basin of where the sea was, and that dust gets blown over by winds over local communities, and it's actually led to a huge rise in respiratory diseases and cancers for local people, and they've been forced out of the area. So it's completely heartbreaking, and we don't think about these things because they're not happening on our doorstep, but a lot of the things that we do and the choices we make, we think affect us a lot, but really they affect other people a lot more. So anyway, that aside, every year the global emissions from textile production are equivalent to 1.2 billion tons of CO2, and that is more than the entire transport industry, planes, cars, ships, everything. 80 billion items of clothing are purchased every single year, and in the UK, an estimated 26.7 kilograms of clothing is purchased per person, which is crazy. I feel like some people consume a lot more than that, and some of us consume a lot less. But 25% of returns end up in landfill. And I think especially in lockdown, where people have been ordering things and they may order a few sizes, please measure yourself before you order many sizes, because a lot of them get cut up and thrown in landfill. There are now 52 fashion seasons. There are new clothes being brought out every single week by fast fashion stores, rather than there being spring, summer, autumn, winter. And microplastics from synthetic fibers are the most prominent plastics on planet Earth. There's thought to be more microplastics in the ocean than there are grains of sand on the beach, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know how supported that claim is, but assuming it is a roundabout correct, it's absolutely astonishing. Again, the farming practices such as cotton and the Aral Sea. Cotton is actually one of the most water-intensive plants on the planet. It takes about 10,000 litres of water to manufacture 1 kilogram of cotton. And then chemical dyes such as indigo, blue jeans. Blue jeans are the planet's nightmare, if I'm honest with you. Tanning. I had a very unfortunate incident when I was in Marrakesh, actually. I came across a tannery, and it's quite disturbing, actually, especially as a vegan. It was even more disturbing. It was very upsetting. But the chemicals and just the way the air feels, let alone what the water feels like you can feel it's almost burning your eyes, and the chemicals, it leads to such enormous issues with the people that are tanning leather and the waste waterways where the chemicals are disposed of, because a lot of the places we outsource a lot of this work, and a lot of this work is done in countries where environmental regulations are not as strict and are not enforced as much, and so it ends up in local waterways, and it ends up harming the most impoverished people in the region who are not the ones consuming to any of this, and it's just heartbreaking. And then with human exploitation, of course, the 2013 Rana Plaza collapse, where 1,100 people were killed when a building collapsed, making clothes for Marks and Spencer's, I think, and I'm not 100% sure what brands, but yeah. And then in 2020, last year, the boho scandal in Leicester, when they were paying their workers £3 an hour, it's even happening on our doorstep. And in 2010, the BBC found that Nike had 8-year-olds making their trainers. Quite a hefty price tag of that. That's quite a large profit margin, that is. And then, of course, animal exploitation for fur, leather, wool, and silk, and all sorts of things people use animals for. And also, because we buy so much clothes and throw away so many clothes, it has completely, and I mean completely, wiped out local industries. Haiti and Kenya used to have very, very rich textile industries. They would manufacture the majority of their clothing. Now it just doesn't exist because they get all of our old clothes, and local industries, local businesses go out of business because they've just got all of our secondhand clothes there, and it's just not fair. That's where the majority of what you donate to the charity shops goes to as well. And less than 1% of pre and post-consumer textiles are recycled into new clothing. I think that's really important to remember. So what is sustainable fashion? So sustainable fashion is fashion that causes little or no damage to the environment and therefore is able to continue for a long time. It is sustainable. Of course, there is going to be damage caused because in order to harvest crops, you have to exploit the environment, but this is either offset through carbon offsetting or some sort of sustainability initiative that is regenerative rather than destructive. Certifications are a really, really big one. I think it's really important. I'm going to talk about certifications in a minute. Being fair trade, making sure that the farmers are getting their slice of the cake too, not just the big guys sitting around the table in the office, raking it in, buying islands here, there, and everywhere. Responsibly sourced materials, not using synthetic fibers, and if they are, they're recycled, using organic cotton rather than non-organic cotton. Mindful manufacturing, trying to cut down the amount of water used and the amount of chemicals and what chemicals are used within the manufacturing process is really, really important. There is so much water used in manufacturing, and if you just try and change it around a little bit, you can try and use that wastewater for other parts of the manufacturing process, and so you're not wasting as much. Sustainability initiatives within the company, obviously wonderful, like the packaging, offsetting the shipping, using renewable energies, slow and circular fashion. I'm really excited to see lots more companies introducing circular fashion. There's actually a brand I'm going to mention later where each item of clothing has a barcode and you can scan it and you get a free post label and you send your clothes back to them. Their factories on the Isle of Wight, and they grind your clothes down and they make new t-shirts out of them. And all the t-shirts are great because made out of old clothes, a mixture of old clothes. You don't get to choose a colour, but it is completely circular and made from their old clothes, which I think is awesome. And of course, slow, just not 52 seasons, 4 seasons, slow and quality over quantity. You pay more for one piece of clothing, but it will last you 10 years rather than paying a tenth of the price for a t-shirt that's going to last you 1 month. So certifications, I obviously couldn't include all the certifications because believe me, there are a lot, but these are the ones I tend to look out for. And believe me when I say there are so many fake certifications out there, it absolutely breaks my heart. So always look for ones that are real and a third party certified, and you have to actually meet certain standards because as we know, a lot of certifications just don't really hold brands to account. So fair trade obviously is a really good one to look out for. GOTS certified, this is the Global Organic Textile Standard. So you get GOTS or certified cotton mainly, and that's really, really great to look out for, to know that that the cotton used in your clothing is organic. And then of course you can use the Organic Soil Association as well for lots of your food and things like that as well. Carbon neutral is another one. That means that the ecological impact of that garment has been offset by the company. I would be careful with when companies are offsetting and when companies are carbon negative, because a lot of the time they're just paying tons of money to companies that are saying they're doing all these great things, but whether that company that they're paying is actually doing great things and planting X amount of trees and regenerating ecosystems, we don't actually know. So a lot of it is, there is quite a lot of greenwashing within carbon offsetting, so just be wary of that one. But if it is a carbon neutral label and it is certified, it's been third party certified, so that's fine. And then ecotech, I think I said that right, is a testing and certification for textiles. So it's just the whole manufacturing process, start to finish, with textiles, for it to be sustainable and ethical and fair trade and all sorts of lovely things. The Fair Wear Foundation, obviously meeting certain standards for labour conditions for workers. There's also one for a living wage in the UK. You can find at cafes and stuff, they'll be like, oh, we're a living wage employer, which I think everyone should be. But yeah, that's also a really good one to look out for. But that's more for just like day-to-day products rather than fashion, although you may find with smaller brands. A B Corp is a company that supports a sustainable global economy. So brands like Who Gives a Crap, I'll talk about Who Gives a Crap next week. They're a certified B Corp, which is really good. 1% of the planet it's a company where it means that if a company gives at least 1% of they sign up to give at least 1% of their net profits to sustainability initiatives or a sustainable charity or something to help the planet. 1% doesn't seem like much, but for some companies, it can be quite a lot when they're small and they're just getting on their feet, and it's also better than nothing. And then PETA and vegan, so a lot of PETA certified like shoes, like vegan leathers and vegan clothing is obviously vegan, which is very useful for those of us who are worried about that. Greenwashing, oh gosh, just walked down today's high street and it's greenwashing. My absolute favorite greenwashing scheme is H&M. They are so good at this, like why? Anyway, H&M's conscious range, incredible. It's just I don't even know where to start. It's greenwashing, it's not conscious. Like 1% of the clothes they like, because they say in their conscious range that it's all of their old recycled clothes, but only 1% of the actual garment is made from recycled clothing. Their recycling scheme is questionable at best. You take your clothes there, some people think that it's only about 5% of the clothes that get put there actually get recycled. They get shipped off, sold to and outsourced to other companies that deal with it. And they also give you store credit when you recycle, from what I've heard anyway. Obviously, that store credit is only to be used in H&M, which is a fast fashion brand, which is part of the industry that is not single-handedly, but is a huge contributor to climate change and is thereby not sustainable. So it's like, do a good thing for the planet, but then consume more of our stuff, please. It just, you know, a pretty little thing, have a recycled range, and it is, yeah, it is greenwashing. And I see a lot, I don't know if anyone else gets these Facebook ads of recycled ocean plastic clothing. They're like, oh, I made these leggings out of recycled ocean plastic, but they have absolutely no certifications. I used to get stuff all the time on Instagram, like, do you want to be our brand ambassador? No, thank you. I don't believe what you're saying. It's just trendy and cool now. So, and then this is a quote from Boohoo. So Boohoo Group PLC, in the news a lot recently, has a number of existing initiatives underway, born from our commitment to sustainability, ranging from clear policies on modern slavery and ethical supplier conduct, through to zero waste to landfill at all our UK sites. But they list no current initiatives on the website. This is pretty much their only, when you click on sustainability on their website, this is pretty much what it comes up with. And it's frankly, it's rubbish. They have been like pairing with these companies that you can click on their website. And again, everything is so flaky and not very, they can't be held to account for it. It's not very binding. There isn't saying, we're going to do this much this year and this much, and we're going to give ourselves this time scale. And even if they do that, it's like a 1%. It's not anything that's worth, you know, being excited about, sadly. So secondhand shopping. This is by far the most sustainable and affordable alternative to fast fashion and for, you know, sustainable fashion. You can do this in store, a bit more difficult right now, through charity shops, vintage shops, consignment shops, which are a little bit more expensive, but you can get some nice stuff in there as well, and clothes swaps. Don't know if anyone's ever been to a clothing swap, but they're really easy to arrange, and they're really great, and they're free because you just swap your clothes instead of buying clothes, which is wonderful. You can buy secondhand clothes online. eBay, Vinted, it's free to list. eBay got a small fee, Depop a small fee. There are loads of fake sellers on Depop as well, so be cautious of that. And Oxfam have an online shop as well where you can return the clothing if it doesn't fit you. I know a lot of people's worries with buying secondhand especially online, is that once you bought it, you bought it. If it doesn't fit you, if you don't like it, you cannot return it. Oxfam has a returns policy. I think it's 30 days. But yeah, so definitely worth checking that out. Gentrification and poverty. It's become very trendy to go secondhand shopping and wear vintage clothes, which has meant that the people that rely on secondhand shopping most because it is more affordable have kind of been pushed out the equation. I don't know if anyone's been to a charity shop recently or seen the ridiculous prices some people sell stuff on Depop for. It is disgusting, if I'm honest with you, what people are doing, because it means that those people who actually need to buy things secondhand because they cannot afford them new, cannot afford them just because loads of middle class kids want to wear cute vintage clothes. Quite a generalization, I know, but yeah, that is essentially what's been happening, and it has been a massive problem. So the whole point of sustainable fashion is that you change your consumer habits, and that means not consuming stuff you don't need. Just because it's secondhand and it's cheaper doesn't mean you should buy 10 times as much. Only buy things you need. It's not fair on everyone else. And again, donate doesn't mean resell. When you donate things, so many people, I mean, I don't think anyone's ever worked in a charity shop. I did one shift in a charity shop once, and the amount of just people give to the charity shop, they just dump all their junk in a bag and drop it off at the store. Only give them things they can sell. If it's got holes in, they're not going to sell it. So just don't bother. Someone else has got to sort it out, and it's not fair. You bought it, it's your responsibility. You need to figure out what to do with it. Don't just dump it on poor charity shops. These people work so hard. And repair, repurpose, and recycle. If you don't know how to hand stitch, I would definitely recommend learning. You can learn from YouTube. It's super easy. All you need is a needle and thread. Fixing holes, sewing on buttons, restitching seams. I love buying my denim secondhand because I like old Levi's denim. It's hard, durable. I don't like flexible denim, but most of the jeans don't fit me, so I tend to taper all of my jeans. So I taper them, shorten them, do all sorts, and so does my partner. Well, I do it for my partner, or he takes them to local tailors and dressmakers, which is also a really great thing to do. So something my partner does quite a lot actually is he will get, he got a really nice Jaeger suit from a charity shop, but it was a bit big for him, so he took it to a tailor, and for about 15 quid the tailor took the jacket in, completely reshaped it, and so now it's like a perfect fit on him. He has a really nice suit which he used to wear to work, but of course now working from home all these suits, can't wear them anywhere. But yeah, it's a really great thing to do, is when something is broken, fix it. We're so good at just throwing things away. Same with your shoes. How many of you go and get your shoes resold? Well, probably quite a lot of you because you're interested in this kind of thing, but many of us just throw away our shoes instead of fixing them, getting some glue, getting a new sole put on, getting the battery in our watch changed, you know. But it's not an excuse to buy something new, it's an excuse to fix what you already have. And then the 30 wear rule. I love this rule. Basically, the 30 wear rule is that when you buy something, you have the intention of wearing it for 30 times. Is it going to survive being worn 30 times? Am I going to wear it 30 times? Am I going to enjoy wearing it 30 times? Asking yourself these questions before you purchase something is just going to change your life when it comes to consuming. I mean, you look at that dress, you're like, oh, that's cute. You know, I'm going out this weekend. It's talking in the future, obviously. But are you actually going to wear that pink sparkly dress 30 times? Are all those sequins going to stay attached for 30 wears? Are you going to be able to wash that 30 times and it not fall apart? I highly doubt it. You can also turn your old clothes into new things, and I absolutely love doing this. So you can make produce bags. I love making produce bags out of my old clothes. My dad's shirts are one of my personal favourite materials to make produce bags out of. And t-shirts, just cotton t-shirts, you can cut them up and make drawstrings. They make the best produce bag drawstrings ever, just best drawstrings in general. You can make rag blankets. You cut 6-inch squares of fabric, and then all the excess fabric, I spent a whole day during the first lockdown cutting all my offcuts of fabric into tiny little bits that I'm using to stuff this rag blanket so it's nice and thick and warm. And you can also turn old clothes into cleaning cloths. My personal favorite is cotton jumpers because it's textured, it picks up dust really well. And I just cut a rectangle and then I just hand stitch it together, and so it's, you know, stitched around the edge and whatnot, and it's like double-sided, and I use them to clean my house, and they work fantastically. No need to spend money on cleaning cloths. And then sustainable fashion. So sustainable fashion is slow, so it doesn't have as many seasons. They don't bring out as much stuff. Everything's a bit more, you know, it's a bit chiller, calmer. It tends to be very classic and timeless sustainable fashion. A lot of people think it's not like hipster or cool enough, and like I get that. A lot of it is quite mature, I would say. I'm very much into that look anyway. Like I said, like the midi skirt and you know, but there are some brands, they tend to carbon offset or be carbon negative. Again, look for certifications for this one, and they tend to encourage a change in consumer habit. My favorite thing with sustainable brands is when they kind of tell you how to fix them. And Lucy and Yak did this recently. Well, I think like last year or something, they were sharing pictures on their social media about people who had got holes in their products and then fix them, and they were promoting that. They were like, oh yeah, try this, and I actually love that. And I personally have re-dyed my Lucy and Yak dungarees, and I don't see the need to buy any new ones. They're 3 years old and growing strong. Also the materials, I've kind of put these materials in order of what I think is best. So hemp is a fantastic material, absolutely fantastic. It grows so quickly. There are some really great videos on YouTube actually all about hemp. Bamboo, again, grows really quickly. It's really great. It's a very high yielding crop, but it is very popular now because sustainability has become so mainstream, and a lot of bamboo is not ethically sourced and is grown in China and involves a lot of modern slavery. So just be wary of that, and again, make sure that it's certified. Linen, again, is a really wonderful fabric. Linen ages very beautifully. I think linen is one of those fabrics, you get it and it's not nice when you first wear it. It's like a pair of thick denim jeans. When you first get it, it's so uncomfortable. I don't know if anyone's ever worn their denim jeans in a bath, but yeah, it's like that. I like old linen, the best linen, and organic cotton. Cotton isn't necessarily just awful. It is a biodegradable fabric. It is a natural biodegradable fabric. It's a great fabric. It's very versatile. You can make all sorts of things from it. But choose organic, please. Organic farming practices are so much more sustainable. And recycled synthetics. I put this last because I think it's great, because there are synthetic fibers and synthetic fabrics in circulation that need to be used up, and we need to do things with our old synthetic clothes. But equally, the overuse of it and it being like 50-50, like, oh, it's 50% recycled synthetic and 50% new. We don't want to be encouraging that new synthetic. But equally, I'm not going to be going for a run in my linen pants anytime soon. So, but I tend to buy my sports clothes secondhand because of that. I know some people find that gross, you know, someone else has sweated into this sports bra and whatnot, but I don't know, don't really care. Again, classic and timeless. I'm just going to mention some brands. Obviously, I'm not affiliated or anything. These are just like over the years of me being into this. These are some of the brands I found and I absolutely love. Linen Fox makes linen for well-lived days. That is their catchphrase, and I'm currently wearing one of their dresses. They're a bit more pricey. I love them, but they're made to order. So you're going to be waiting 4 to 6 weeks after you order it. So you need to really want one of their items. They do men's clothes. Their clothes, like, I would say, it's unisex. You know, if you want to wear a dress, you can wear a dress. If you want to, you know, whatever you want to wear. But it is linen. It's really well made. It's beautiful. You choose your size, you choose your color. They make it to order for you, and then they post it to you when it's done. And it's all made in Europe, and the linen is obviously ethically sourced. Thought Clothing do the best bamboo tights and socks in the world. I have my lucky pair of socks are from Thought Clothing. They have cups of peas on, obviously, and they're about 3 years old and they haven't even got a hole in it. And when I say I wear them a lot, I mean I wear them a lot. Like, I wear them every single week and they still haven't got holes in. Lucy and Yak, I know there's been some controversy with their size inclusivity, but I still think they're a great brand. Inside every piece of Lucy and Yak clothing, there'll be a number, and you can look that number up on their website and it will tell you exactly who made it, who they are, what they do, why they work for Lucy and Yak, a picture of them, everything. People Tree, a really great brand as well. If you've seen The True Cost on Netflix, you will see that they were mentioned in there. They do some really, really beautiful clothes. Organic Basics, they've really expanded their range recently, which is really, really awesome. They do basics, but again, really high quality, great things. Bamboo Clothing. I've only got one thing from them, but my partner's got loads of joggers and like shorts from them. They do like bamboo sportswear, and goodness, they're so soft. I can't quite get over it. They're absolutely beautiful and wonderful. But yeah, Rapanui, I'm really hoping I'm saying that well. They're the brand who their factory is in, is on the Isle of Wight, where you can send back your old clothes and for them to recycle it, which is awesome. Hemp Tailor or Hemp Hoodlam, they make vegan hemp coats made from hemp. They're an Amsterdam-based company. They are just an awesome brand. They even do jumpers and stuff as well. They have been rebranding and it's quite hard to find them, but I've had my coat from them for years. They do coats that go down to -15 degrees Celsius, no fur, no down, no nothing, all plants. Beautiful clothing, quite heavy, but worth it. Patagonia is well known to be a sustainable brand, although they do use down and stuff, so just avoid that. Booty, they do really good bamboo pants and underwear. Laya the Label, really beautiful bikinis and swimwear. And Batoko is a really awesome Scottish brand where they laser print, they make swimming costumes and they laser print them, and they've just got really beautiful patterns, and everything's done so sustainably and beautifully, and they're very slow. I mean, I've got 2 of their swimsuits and I've been supporting them for years, and they literally have like never changed their patterns and stuff, and I love that because it just means that they're like, we don't need to improve, like this is like, people like our stuff and we don't need to bring out 10,000 new things a year. They only have like 8 different styles. Things to watch: The True Cost is on Netflix, definitely watch that if you haven't watched it already. River Blue, I will find the link afterwards and put it in the chat, but River Blue is a documentary all about the impact of blue denim jeans on the environment. You do have to pay for it, definitely worth it. It's only, you know, a small made film. I would highly recommend reading The Story of Stuff by Anne Leonard. I think Leonard, yeah. I haven't read it yet, I have it on my bookshelf, but I've read Fashionopolis by Dana Thomas, and again, fantastic book. A little bit old now, but a wonderful thing to watch. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry this is a long one. I'm really trying to reel myself in, but yeah, and I will now take any of your questions.